Thank you very much. Yeah, I know it's a challenge being the last speaker of the day, and with so many good speakers before me. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you a walkthrough about 15 years of Singapore's e-learning implementation to give you an idea of where we are. And I'm more familiar with the K-12 space, which are basically the schools market in Singapore, although I have actually also participated in a number of corporate e-learning projects through my company. And I've been introduced as the CEO of the Learning Grid, but I believe I'm here in this conference because of my past life. What do I mean by that? I've actually started a smallish e-learning company in year 2000, and it grew to become one of the biggest and most active member in the Singapore e-learning community. We were servicing probably about 40–50% of all the schools in Singapore, and we had some regional projects with various governments such as Brunei and so on, developing content, implementing e-learning platforms for them. It grew to about 150 people. I eventually sold it off, interestingly, to an India public listed company. I exited the company in 2009, and since then, the Learning Grid is more a consulting arm, and for me to dabble in a bit of a hobby. I publish some e-books for young kids through another e-learning, through a company that I invested in that builds this sort of e-books technologies and so on. What I'm going to do in the next half hour or so is to bring you through the different stages of Singapore's ICT implementation, starting from before the Big Bang. We had a Big Bang in 1997 where a lot of things was done, and then we have not stopped since then. But before that, I call it the pre-ICT master plan. And this master plans in Singapore goes on for every 5 years. It's an ambitious master plan roadmap. So we are into the third master plan now, towards the middle stage of the third master plan. Various lessons learned, and examples of what it means to have e-learning in schools, to give you an idea of what the environment is like for those who are interested in dealing with schools or companies there. I have to make a disclaimer, though, that because I'm an industry participant, I'm not a member of the government, so on the ministry side. So the viewpoints that I've taken in this presentation has been from the viewpoint of industry participants working closely with schools and the government in implementing the solutions. A bit of background about the Singapore school landscape to set the platform. It's embarrassing coming to a country as big as India with so many people. Let me explain that Singapore has about 360 over schools, primary, secondaries, and colleges. They're typically of the sizes of 1,006 for primary schools, 1,003 for secondary, and 1,007 for junior colleges. Most of them are on the Cambridge O-level system. A number have gone into the International Baccalaureate, and NUS has their diploma for their own high school. 500,000 students in the whole of Singapore, 30,000 teachers, and about 40 private and international schools meant mainly for foreigners. Locals, there are certain restrictions about locals entering into these schools. So that gives you the platform of what we are talking about when we talk about the e-learning implementations for this group. And the participants in the e-learning industries, of course, you have the government, of which the biggest player is the Ministry of Education that calls tenders, decide all the roadmaps, and so on. The teachers are under the employment of the Ministry of Education. But there are two organizations. Initially, it was the Economic Development Board. In order to start Singapore education multimedia industry off, gave some grants to encourage local companies to work with foreign companies, encourage local companies to jump into this space. Later on, we had the Infocom Development Authority, which became fairly active from year 2000 onwards, especially with all the .com happening around, trying to promote a vibrant ICT industry for education. So they came in working closely with the Ministry of Education, funded a number of projects. Then, of course, we have the schools and the teachers. And in Singapore, our industry is mainly government schools. Of that half a million students, yeah, almost all go to the government schools, the 360 over government schools. And then you have the industry players, of which I was part of. They were actively creating solutions to meet these needs.